A lot of people, I think, were raised to feel like they're not artists or they're not musicians, and I want everyone to feel like they are. I'm Keely Mackey. I'm a cellist, composer, and macro photographer. As an interdisciplinary artist, where I'm a musician and also a visual artist, and working with dancers and people that are into movement, the way that I see and feel all this creative process is in multiple ways. So like you can hear it, you can see it, you can also participate in it when I do the yoga classes. But I also want to try to make it as accessible to people, as many people as possible, because I do have people that are close to me that are either visually impaired or auditorily impaired. Even if I'm feeling tired, I'll pick up my cello and I'll start playing, and it really rejuvenates me. Music actually lights up all parts of your brain. I like to read neuropsych research. Even if you're listening to music, it's gonna be lighting up all parts of your brain, but if you're actually playing it, it's tapping into all parts of your brain and being. So it helps us, I think, stay young, stay vibrant. During the pandemic, I actually was awarded the New Mexico Music Award for 2020, and I was also invited to perform for that ceremony, which was a great honor. And then I also entered it into the International Songwriting Competition this last year, which is the largest songwriting competition in the world. There were over 22,000 applicants, and I was honored to be a semifinalist, which is the top 11%. So it feels good to get recognition. I really want to be able to bring my music to larger audiences and more people. All my music is inspired by nature, so earth, air, fire, and water. I believe that nature is healing, so that we all need to heal, anytime, but especially with the pandemic, that this has been a more challenging, difficult time for people, and that if we can spend some time in nature and even just in our own yards and nurturing small things like wildflowers, that it can give us also a sense of hope. During the lockdown, I was actually teaching an online art class to middle and high school students, and because we couldn't really go anywhere, I thought, let's look at the micro and bring it macro. And it was kind of by accident that I really got into macro photography. This is just basically an introduction to macro photography. This is like a little workshop. I also do classes where we go out in the field and take photos. This is one of the examples of a macro lens. This magnifies 15 times, and I'm going to attach it right over the top part. And it's amazing because you can even zoom in a little bit more on some of the petals and try to get like a little flower landscape. When you're doing the macro photography, what people tell me is, oh wow, this is such a surprise, or I'm feeling so calm, and you kind of feel like you're on this scavenger hunt for and noticing the beauty in nature that you might not notice if you were just walking by. I love water droplets because you will see upside down worlds. One of my favorite photos that I took is probably about a 4mm little tiny piece of ice sculpture with the sunset reflecting in it, and it looks like it's on fire. It just opens up this other world, and it's like it's magical, but it's all just there all around us all the time. So I like to call it worlds within worlds. So what used to look like a speck to someone is actually maybe a native sweat bee that's less than a centimeter long. So it's really fascinating to see something and then put the macro lens to it, and to be able to really see all of the fine details and beauty in nature, and like these miracles that are all around us, that we don't even have to go that far. I applied for the grant because I really wanted to be able to take my compositions and bring them to an album. So I just recorded an album, so some of the money went toward that, which is, expensive to record that, promo pictures, trying to get art for my album, producing the album itself. I think it's wonderful that the city of Albuquerque is allowing the artists and musicians and dancers to have these grants, especially because the pandemic was such a hard time for us. I had canceled so many live performances, and I know that everyone had. It's not just benefiting me, but it's helping me bring my work out there, and it's also benefiting, I believe, the people of Albuquerque when they're coming and participating in the performances.